Where do you want to start this morning?
I'm going to start right here with a freshie.
A freshie.
Okay. No one, I didn't listen to anybody talking about this over the weekend, but maybe somebody did. So I apologise if somebody's already put it out there, right? I watched De Koning play at the weekend.
Which one?
In the ruck for Carlton.
Tom.
Unbelievable performance from a young ruckman, an inexperienced young ruckman. Absolutely smashed our man, John Deere, tractor man, Das, right? Smashed him.
Did he?
Absolutely smashed him, right? I wonder about this, right? He's only getting his time as a ruckman at the moment because Pitnet is unavailable through injury, right? Can you see this happening at any stage later this season? Pitnet comes back into the side. They keep De Koning in the side because he could play forward as well. But have they got enough space there to play Pitnet, De Koning, Mackay, Curnow, Silvani? Have they got enough space to play those big guys all at the same time?
It's a really good question. I've got it written down here as well because there's a bit of the Brodie Grundy and Jeremy Cameron debate in all this as well. You've got the established ruckman who gets injured and the replacement comes in and just sets the world on fire. So Cameron's in career best form and De Koning, I didn't see that game as much of that game.
He was
as
excellent.
You. So I don't know whether you could play all of those.
It looks heavy, doesn't it?
Yeah, because you don't want to just play them on and off the bench. You want them to pinch hit somewhere. I guess it comes down to Silvani being as flexible and as sort of versatile as he is right now.
He's an important player to him.
Yeah. But gee, they're in good form. John Brown, who did the game for Fox on the weekend, showed some stuff on Harry Mackay last night, which I loved. You can show all these marks and all these goals and everything else, but when it's not working for you, and this is, the key forwards over the journey, Joey Danaher's been criticised, Maxi King's getting a bit of it now, is when it's not working for you, what are you doing? And when it wasn't working for Harry on the weekend, he was working his ass off.
Yes, shoulder to the wheel. And the thing about De Koning, and, they would have been preferring Pitnet to De Koning, right? He probably wouldn't have got the game time that he's been able to get, which has meant that he's been able to develop. Like he wasn't this player 4 weeks ago. He's getting more and more confidence in being out there and being able to produce. And this is what happens. You look at a team at the beginning of the year, and sometimes the coaches themselves don't even know what they've got at their disposal. They don't know the potential of some of the players that they have at their disposal. Carlton now are a better team because of what De Koning can do as well. And it's just, they've got the midfield players, and we've talked about this before, Cripps and Kennedy and Hewitt. Hewitt doesn't get his flowers either. He doesn't get as much praise. He
got a few bunches.
I don't know that he gets as many flowers as he should get, Hewitt, because he's a very important player to them. And Walsh, everybody talked about him, and Chera can come back into that team. You combine that with their ruck power.
Yes.
Wow, they're going to take, and the way that they are now able to play. There was a time in that game at the weekend, Freo came really hard at them in the third quarter.
And what they do?
It looked like the game had shifted. Well, they weathered that, and then they kicked on at the end of the third quarter. They answered all those things, and then they kicked goals, and then they went on with it in the last quarter again. But they've got the capacity to be able to change. I know that Nick, your mate, talks about changing gears in games and that type of thing, or being able to play what's in front of them.
What they did in that particular occasion
do that.
was, according to Brownie, was that they just took the heat out of the game. They'd kicked 3 goals in a row, Freo, so they went into this kick-mark game. Kick-mark, take the sting out, control it. He said, years gone by, they would have kept playing the same way and got tumbled over the top of.
There's a maturity about the team, and if ever a team is starting to look like the personality of the coach, it is this team.
So, a couple of questions. Can they win it?
Yeah, they can.
Can they win the premiership?
Yeah, they can.
That's a digital people.
No, that's not a hot take either. They have got the ability. They get Wiedering back. Their defensive unit. Doherty is playing.
No, I'm with you. I'm big on Carlton.
Okay, I'm just continuing on with the case for them to win the flag, right?
Yeah.
I don't see that there's a weakness. That's not mice running across the table either.
That's how digital people.
No, I'm not trying. I don't do hot takes.
Too late. You're in it now.
No, but that's not a hot take out there because a lot of people that are watching football would be of the same view now.
To win big games, and I'm not saying premierships, but I'm saying big games, you need superstars, right? And this is a bit of the St Kilda issue. They ain't got them. They ain't got them like Carlton have got them.
No, they haven't got the top-end talent that Carlton have got. No. Carlton's top-end talent is equal to any team in the competition's top-end talent. But they've got some nipsies in the forward line too that just do the hard grunt work.
Role players.
They work really hard at ground level. They're good across the centre. Like Walsh is a star, we know that.
Okay, so
there's very few weaknesses in their team.
That is a club that had potential, and we've looked at them and said, why haven't they gone further? They made the decision on the coach, and then you've said they've got the right coach, and they're adopted his personality and the change. Is it? Do you see any of that in Essendon?
The personality.
Yeah, do you see any of the same situation saying this is a side that should be better? Yeah, they played finals last year.
They've taken a step back.
Is there a case for a change of coach in this instance, or is that way too early?
I think that's too early. Right. I think that's too early. And young coaches can sometimes get it. They can sometimes get lost in their second year of coaching and pull the wrong levers.
Okay, so are there some people say, yeah, but hang on.
Essendon people have had enough. Essendon people have had enough.
Where's the defence? We go over to Western Australia, we play the West Coast Eagles, haven't scored, and all of a sudden they split us open.
They don't play hard enough for long enough.
Well, whose fault's that?
Well, that is all the things that they don't do are things that the coaches would be aware of, but they haven't been able to change.
Well, this is the hard thing.
So you have to be able, as a coach, you've got to be able to influence the behaviours of your individuals and of your team, the collective.
Isn't it
And
hard?
they haven't been able to do that consistently this season.
Wouldn't they turn around and say, hey, Michael Voss walked in and changed it all? He changed it all in the summer.
Well, they may do that. I don't know that they're going to do that, but they may do that. I would think that if they were to lose badly from this point on to the end of the year, then it would be something that they're going to have to consider.
Gee, there's some people out there that don't like the fact Carlton have got their act together. Anyway, I think it's great for footy. Phil's joined us. G'day, Phil.
Yeah, g'day, guys. I just wanted to add to the De Koning discussion. I was trying to settle a disagreement on Facebook, and I was having a look at the hit-outs to advantage stats.
Yep.
And De Koning's actually right up there. I think he's in the top 3 or 4 for hit-outs to advantage. But another interesting point is the number 1 on that list was actually Mark Pitman.
Is that right? I didn't know that, Phil, but, I was mightily impressed with what he did at the weekend.
Yeah,
because you're a big fan of Darcy. I'm a big fan of Darcy, but I kept thinking, this bloke has no influence whatsoever on this game. They're absolutely nothing.
Hey, Wispy, what's a pair of De Konings worth to Geelong next season? 3 years at 1.8 million has already been offered. According to this texter. I don't know whether there's anything.
You be careful going with these things straight off the text.
Yeah, you can let her read them out.
Well, he is exactly what Geelong would want, but you would want him to stay if you're a Carlton fan.
Yeah, well, Geelong, if in fact that's true, I've got no idea, then that's exactly what Geelong should be doing, putting some pressure on, asking questions. Hey, you see, just quickly changing tack, this is what annoys me about when the AFL umpires come out and say, no, we've ticked the box on Prestia. Yeah, there was no danger in him. We didn't need to stop the game. The game wasn't anywhere near it. That's just blatantly wrong.
Wrong. Absolutely wrong.
Why
and you were right. At the time, I'm watching you and you're talking about it and the game and you're thinking, why isn't there a common sense rule that's being applied here?
Why can't they own up and say, yeah, no, we got that wrong?
Why can't they?
Yeah.
Well, they should and they could.
They just didn't. Got a blatant inability to say, no, we must.
No, they say they get it wrong. No. Occasionally.
Well, how could they when you saw what you saw last night?
They got that wrong. They got that 100% wrong.
But they didn't. They came out and said, no, we were right.
No, but they're wrong.
Okay.
On this occasion, they do own up. My point is, at some point, sometimes they do own up and they say, look, that decision was wrong. This one was blatantly wrong. Yep. You've got a bloke there who's in the hands of the trainer. The trainer puts his hand up. I know even Barmy probably took a little bit of heat and said, it was Richmond's fault, whatever they did. But they were down a player. I mean, it wasn't to their advantage in any way.
17v18 for 2 minutes.
And that critical bit of vision that you showed where they did get a goal at that time, Geelong, as a result of that.
Pete Fanarinoran doesn't rate the Blues. He just thinks that Voss got lucky. Voss got lucky and got a few players into the team. His finest moment.
His timing's good that those players have come to Carlton at that time. Like Hewitt is a really, really, really good player. You talk about blokes that give their 7 or 8 every week. He gives his 8.59 every week. Every time he goes near a contest, Hewitt does the right thing by the team. And the other bloke who never gets any flowers, ever, is Nick Newman off half-back. Yeah. He is a very, very solid player.
Well, they might have got a few, but they've got a whole damn backline out at the moment. They've got about 15 on the injured list, so they might have got a few. They've lost a few, and he's been able to do it, Pete. So good job from Michael Voss. Peter's in Essendon. Hello, Peter.
Good morning, Tim and Garry. Look, this is no conspiracy theory. Let me make this clear. But the conflict of interest with Brad Scott, I will hope he retires and gets out of that position, because while Geelong's Chris Scott is there at Geelong, I don't know. I just don't feel comfortable. And then you've got Hocking that's gone to Geelong, and he should take those rules with him, all those changes that he made. But do you think that's, I don't know, I don't feel comfortable with Brad Scott being there with Chris Scott coaching Geelong.
Yeah, Pete, so what you got to ask yourself is, do you think Brad Scott is sitting in his office at AFL saying, how can I make a decision that's going to help my brother out? Do you reckon that happens?
No, not in that sense. It's just that he had the look. I hope he fixes up the game. That's all, Garry. I hope all this stand rule and all this nonsense, he clears it up, because even though there's been some good matches this year, I agree with that, but the game is still in a lot of trouble, I think.
Okay, fair enough, Pete. That's the opinion of a lot of people out there at the moment who suggest there's some issues. I don't question for a second the integrity of Brad Scott. He'd be in that job trying to do the best thing for the game. But we appreciate you giving us a call.
What do you think about the send-off rule? I know it's an old thing that rears its head from time to time, but I think it is something that we really do need to take more seriously after what took place at the weekend. What do you think? Should we have a send-off rule or not?
No.
Why?
I don't like it.
Yeah, but that's not a reason. That's just a stupid answer to a really good question.
I'm with John Longmire. Just cool our jets, right? This happens once a year.
Cool our jets about what, though? Like, the next time it happens, we have another discussion about it.
To be answered your question, I haven't explored it. I just don't like the rule. I don't like a send-off rule. I've always worried that someone will get it wrong somewhere along the way.
So every other sport's got it wrong then, because they have a send-off rule?
No, I didn't say that. I just don't like it. You're a bit ornery today.